Hey guys, let's talk about this week's episode of The Blacklist. And last week I really enjoyed the episode. I liked what they did with Red's character and how they had him all revengey and going out and, killing all these people that betrayed him. But this week we kind of got back to business as usual, and he gave them a name on the blacklist. And, the episode for me wasn't so much about what was the story of the week, which I do like from time to time. And I thought this one was totally creepy. The fact that this guy was stealing people's DNA and then killing people and having them believe that they were dead while they were sneaking the real people somewhere else, kind of crazy. And then he was totally cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, so that was even more interesting. But it was again, what is happening with our main stars. And this week, it was kind of like the revolving door of Liz and Tom's, we're about to adopt a baby and you're just not home enough. And how are you going to be a mom? And it's like, well, you know what job she has, first of all. I don't know why you would ever agree to have a child with this woman who never comes home and barely even returns phone calls. So I feel like we keep having this same conversation only to now introduce somebody who's going to become clearly a threat to their relationship. And she's already pretending to be somebody that she's not. And she's got a file on Tom, and she's there. She's obviously sent there to do something to this relationship. And she's already succeeding because she invites the two of them to, well, she invites Tom to invite his wife to a art gallery opening or something like that. And not necessarily an opening, but an art gallery. And he's like, oh, that's not really what we're into. But then he, after being stood up for dinner, decides to go alone to this art gallery. And of course, there's the scene when Liz calls him and she's like, oh, did you make dinner? And he's like, no, but he fully did. And then he scrapes the dinner out and throws it all out into the garbage and then leaves the dirty dishes on the table so that she can come home and see that he actually made the dinner. I was just like, really? Are we 12? Either be honest with the woman. Tell her that you're pissed that you made dinner and she's not home and deal with it instead of like this whole tiptoeing around, oh yeah, I'm not upset, and then leaving her and going hanging out with some other woman and making googly eyes at her during this art show. I'm like, really? I mean, we already know that there's something up with Tom. We don't know what it is. And he keeps acting as though he has no secrets and that he is straight and he's on the straight and narrow and he's got nothing that's going to surprise us moving forwards. But clearly there's something up with him. And we knocked on it in the very first episode and we're still knocking on that door. And I'm kind of like, let's go to the point, people. This is what I have a problem with when you have like 22 episodes in a series. We have so many filler episodes and then we don't move the story forwards and we just kind of backtrack, we go forwards, and then we backtrack again, and it's like, oh, okay. So in other news, we had Reddington off still trying to do some of his own investigating and figuring out who the FBI mole is. And he's like refusing to go into, I guess, where their headquarters are because he still is trying to figure out who the mole is in the department. And we do find out in this episode who that is, and it's Mara. I think that's how you say her name. I mean, they've really given her no backstory on this show to begin with. So finding this piece of information out wasn't really a shock because they brought her in, I believe, in like the second episode. And we haven't really found out any news on this girl. We don't know what her backstory is. We don't know where she came from. We don't know anything. And so the reveal that she is the mole, okay, well, maybe this will help and this will give us some juicy storyline about her. But I wasn't really like, oh, what? Like, when they tried to make it seem like it was the analyst, I was like, really? Does he seem like he would be the big threat? No. So when it turned the page and it was her, I was like, okay, well, that it makes sense, but am I shocked? Not really, because you've given me nothing to really care about. You haven't made it seem like she's like this integral part to this FBI operation, and you haven't given me anything to really care about and think, oh my God, I can't believe she would betray these people. It's like, oh, whatever. So let's see where it goes from here. I'm still enjoying the show, kind of. I watch it, but I still think that there's lots of areas that it needs to work on. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Let me know what you're thinking moving forwards. If this storyline that is she the real mole? Is she, what's his name? Reddington's in her apartment at the end with the loaded gun and he's pointing it at her, and she's all like, "You're here to kill me because I'm the mole," and it's like, all right, I don't know, guys. Let me know what you thought. All right, that's been my review of The Blacklist, and we'll see you next week.